Y'all ready to get funky?
The most important part of dance is music. So now let us listen to the music and identify.
Jump around now. Jump up, and get down. Jump around now. Get down. Jump around now. Get down.
A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica in my hair, a little bit of you makes me your man.
Around now.
You can't run, you can't hide, come with me.
Get down. Jump around now. Jump up, and 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 get down.
Y'all ready?
I'm like a this.
Honestly, CUCK walked so Joker could run. Well, I guess CUCK crawled and then fell and started crying so Joker could run. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Digital Blackface. I'm your host, Poe,
And Lamb
with your co-host. Welcome to episode 9 of Digital Blackface, where we're talking about something very special today. If you were with us on the server for movie night on Friday, you watched a very special, and I do mean special movie called CUCK, released in 2019 as basically the anti-Joker. Now, if you watch Joker, you know that it was a gripping story of a man struggling with living in society with mental issues and everything trying to keep him down. CUCK tries to be that. CUCK tries really, really hard to be that. But if anything, CUCK crawled, fell over, and started crying so Joker could run. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Watching this movie was a struggle. It was 2 hours, it was mind-numbing, and it was hard to get through. Sure, there were good parts, but those parts were few and far between. Now, the one thing that kept me going through this movie, the one funny thing that I kept in my mind, was that the main character, Ronnie, looked exactly like Ethan Klein. Like, he had the same face, the same body. Like, if I really pushed myself, I could make myself believe that this was Ethan Klein's origin story. Now, there's so much about this movie that. Let me start from the beginning when I talk about this movie. Basically, the director had no idea what he was doing. When I say he had no idea what he was doing, I'm saying that he basically crammed every stereotype. He put together cucks. He put together the alt-right. He put together incels. He put together every negative thing you could think of to call someone on the right except a chud. He did, and he made a terrible movie for it.
But
Now,
was it an art piece?
You could call it an art piece. It's an art piece the way someone could throw poop on the wall and call it an art piece. There were scenes that made no sense. There was a scene where he was literally shirtless in the backyard and using a bat to dig a hole for like a few seconds, and they never went anywhere with that. And I guess it was a metaphor for how pointless his life was when he was doing something so pointless. Because he was in his 30s, he had no job, and the only thing he was excited about or showed any interest in was his dad's military accomplishments. Which
Okay, so Who directed this? This next Stanley Kubrick. What is his name?
Okay, the director for this movie, it was like, okay, so I know the actor's name is Zachary Ray Sherman. Rob Lambert, that was it. Rob Lambert.
Rob Lambert. Hey, he's a brother.
Now, I don't know what else he's done, but I don't think he's done anything else actually. Has he? Yeah,
You
he's the
telling
writer
me
and
he
director for
doesn't have a
CUCK.
distinguished career?
He's the writer and director for CUCK, and he's basically written for a few other things, but like nothing big. Really, nothing important.
Oh, he doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so
Look, like
that,
going
that's
through this
why I haven't
movie,
heard
like
of him.
going through this movie, like I've seen so many reviews. Like there was this review I saw on Amazon. Someone says this movie was written out of a Santa Monica loft by the equivalent of a male feminist with a major in gender studies. The movie takes itself seriously to a painful degree, but you'll find yourself wondering if it really is satire at least once per 10-minute window. And that is not wrong at all. That is like literally you keep wondering like, with every new character, like is this a joke? Did they make this like to just like have fun with it? But like you want to think that, but then you realize it's so serious. Like there's a character called Chance Dalmain who the main character of CUCK, Ronnie, watches on VlogTube. Imagine Ben Shapiro's voice coming out of a mix of Gavin McInnes and Steven Crowder. Like
I love them both.
but they shouldn't be the same person is what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Like it wanted to be like this super deep biting social commentary on how white men are racist, conservative, and coddled. Like literally, he was conservative, he was racist, he was Catholic, he was a hunter, he owned guns. Well, he owned a BB gun, and he tried to get a real gun later. And like they tried to put every stereotype together, and it's like they didn't know what actual people on the right were like, or just anybody who wasn't like strictly believed what they did. It's like the most like a Ben Garrison article without even like all the words he uses.
Do you think that they really don't understand what a right-wing person is like, or do you think that they just like boil them down to tropes essentially?
I don't think they know. I really don't think they know. Like some people, like some reviews were like, "Oh wow, this is a good movie. It shows exactly the mind of Trump-loving racists." And I'm like,
That was going to be my next question: is did anybody enjoy it?
some people call it a realistic view of the world we live in, and I'm like, what about this is realistic at all? Like this dude, like he's 30, he has no job, he committed some unspecified crime that he has a probation officer for. By the way, his probation officer is the nicest fucking guy. He's this black guy who comes in, talks to this dude in his room, in his messy room, and also his like 60-year-old mom has like a really obvious sexual attraction to this guy, and he's trying to avoid it in the most way. Like she'll when he's about to leave, she'll grip his hand and just rub it slowly, and like he has to pull his hands out of her grip. And then when she's
So it's a
gone,
horror movie.
that part felt like it.
It's a horror
And then
show.
once the probation officer left the house, she just like gives out this little moan and then rubs her hands together. And then Ronnie, the main character, is just looking around the corner, and then he goes off into his room and throws the most 5-year-old tantrum you'll ever see from a grown man. And throughout the movie, it's just impotent rage tantrum after impotent rage tantrum. When he's not jerking off or making dumb jokes or dumb statements, he's throwing a tantrum like a 5-year-old, gripping his head, stomping all over. It's ridiculous.
I feel sorrow for this man.
I felt sad for him. Like he was a piece of shit. Like he literally at one point sprays some water on some black guys who are outside the part-time job he works at, and then like one of them says, "Why don't you take your legs and go do something. And he was like, he says, why don't you take your legs and go do something, boy? And then Ronnie responds, why don't you take your legs and go back to Africa, boy? And then I'm like, there's 3 black guys, there's one of you. What did you think that was gonna get you? And then they fight, they kick him, he's on the ground, and the Muslim store owners that he's working for literally come out and try and help him, and they chase the black guys off. And the first thing he says, he starts screaming the word nigger at the guys who are running away, and then he calls his boss and his son sand niggers and screams at them too. And I'm like, these were the first people to like legit give you a job and help you, and you just start calling them sand niggers. Like, what's wrong with you, man?
You're talking about this man as if he actually lived.
Like, I feel like I've known guys who like exhibited certain traits, different traits of Ronnie is a lot of messed up traits together, but I have known or met guys who have exhibited individual traits. Like the one he was in the scene when he was trying to, like, he got a date online. He literally got a date online on and he was talking to this woman in a coffee shop, and she was well traveled. She was in college, and the first thing he said to her was like, "Well, you know, all those college guys are just a bunch of cucks, right?" That's the first thing he says to her. Other than, "Oh, I have a job, and other than working my job, I just hang around."
Okay, this movie is starting to seem just a little bit like it's just making fun of autistic people. I'm not down with this anymore.
I'm not gonna lie, he could have been autistic. He really could have.
Like, okay, quick. Autism in men is kind of a thing where they just don't know how to socially act, not socially act, but usually how to socially speak. And something like that seems like something perhaps a very right-wing, mid-functioning autistic man would do, to just start calling 2 men sand niggers after they've rescued you.
Like, literally, they're in this coffee shop. She's being nice to him. She's giving him a chance. Like, she obviously didn't expect him to look.
Okay, but
the way.
did he get a second date though?
Oh no, let me explain to you why there's no possible chance he could get a second date. So like they're talking and she just talks about where she's been, and she asked him what does he do, and he was like, "Oh well, I have a job, and other than that, I just like hang out, you know." And it's clear that he does not know how to talk to women, or really people in general. So and then so she keeps talking. She's carrying the conversation. She's not like staying quiet. She's literally trying to give him a chance. And then she talks about her time in college and how she didn't have a lot of luck with college guys. So he goes, "Well, you know, all those college guys were a bunch of cucks, right?" And she was like, "Oh wow, that's really offensive. Why would you say that?" Like, it was like, "Well, I'm just saying, like, that's just who they are." I'm like she's like, "How do you know?" It's like, "Oh, you're saying it because I've never been to college and I'm not good enough for you," and like he just kind of, and she says like, "Okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore." And she gets up with her coffee and is about to leave, and so he grabs her by the arm and starts screaming at her like, "Oh, what? I'm not good enough for you? I bought you that coffee. You're gonna sit down and we're gonna finish this date." And then like the whole coffee shop just pushes him away from her, and basically he throws a tantrum outside the coffee shop, like grabs his head, stomps on the ground, and just stomps as he walks away. And really looking back on it, like this, yeah, he could have been like autistic. Now that I think about it,
The more you talk about him, the more he sounds like a pre-trans woman Chris Chan, if you know what I'm talking about.
that comment did come up during the movie that this was a very Chris Chan type movie.
Oh, I almost want to watch it now.
Like it made literally no money at the box office. Like that's how. Like, and like at this point, like he goes on his computer at home with his like pre-shoe on head 120p camera, and it's just like starts a successful YouTube channel where he rants against immigration, diversity, women. Like he's caring. Like, sure, he's caring for his mother at home, but he's literally using her bank account and her checks to pay for everything. Like literally everything he does.
Okay, but
And
she's constantly trying to sexually molest him. I think he should get something back. Just saying.
his mother, like I'm not sure if there was some molesting in the past because like his dad died when he was a baby, but like every time when he would give her a bath and like a sponge bath, she would always lift his hand and put it on her breast and would always be smiling and looking at him as she did it. So I'm wondering if there was some molestation going on in that house because I wouldn't be surprised.
So the man's a victim.
The man's a victim of a lot of things, himself included. I'm pretty sure his racism also comes from his mother, at least a little bit. More than a little bit, definitely. Like, there's some things, as you watch the movie, you think it's just him. Because he's like, the illegals own everything and look down on you, and it's...
So are they trying to say that you get racism from your parents?
Look, at one point later in the movie, when he's
Like,
getting
are
arrested...
there implications here?
Like she literally calls him. She catches him stealing from her bank account after they call her for fraud, and she's like, "Oh, you're stealing like a nigger," and I'm like, "Wow, that just came out of nowhere from you." Like she literally, as the police are taking away, and the black parole officer who she clearly has a crush on or some sort of sexual attraction to is just standing right there. She just goes like, "You've been stealing from me like a nigger," and like you see the look on the parole officer's face, like just give her, just let her get it out. She's just old, she's angry. Let her get it out.
This movie is just full of
there's
implications.
there's so many implications. So like even for his dad, like you think most of the movie you think he died in the Gulf War, but in the last like 5-8 minutes, there's a flashback of him as a baby with his dad holding him. And throughout the movie, you've seen these flashbacks of his dad holding a gun, like just sitting like a dark space with like a light shining down on him, holding a gun. And you're wondering what that's about. But the last 8 minutes, they literally show a scene where he as a baby is being held in the guy's hands, and the dad puts a gun to his head and shoots himself. And then baby Ronnie is just walking over to the gun and just poking it. And you realize that this movie left a lot out about how fucked up his family life was that made him this way. He's not a normal guy.
So maybe the movie is actually really just based because it's like this man is a victim of his circumstances. And you find that out at the end. Like that's the message at the end.
Much better though. They could have done it so much better because they made it seem like it was just him. And people who watch it either get the idea of like, oh wow, this movie is really good on how it depicts like the right wing, or like this movie is literally made by SJW CUCK soy boys. Those are the two ends.
I would just have to watch it as an art piece. I'm not gonna lie lie to you. Like what does it mean?
Look, and that's not even getting into the title of the movie, CUCK. Like, there's a certain point where there's this blonde woman you see when he's driving past. She's bent over in the yard and like in short floral shorts or whatever, and he's just like looking at her behind as she's like working in the yard. Later on, you see him as she comes over to the store, and she's clearly trying to talk to him or flirt with him for some reason. I don't know why. And then later, after he gets beat up and fired from his job for calling his bosses sand niggers, he rolls up to her house just out of nowhere, and he's clearly trying to talk to her. But then he see like this man that looks like Johnny Sins, the porn star, mixed with Sam Elliott with this like badass mustache. Like the man's mustache had 95% of the testosterone in this movie.
Was he bald? Because Okay, yeah, I watched the trailer, so like I've seen about 0.5 seconds of him.
I'm saying they had 95% of the testosterone in this movie.
He was kind of cute though, not gonna lie.
So that guy opens the door. And like he's like Ronnie is just quiet for him. He's like, oh, I'm just here to see if you need any help. And like you need help with the yard, or so he just makes something like you need help with the yard or something because I'm looking for a job. And then the woman who he's been seeing online, she's also like a escort or whatever, pops up like, oh honey, do we need help with the yard? You're like yeah, the rosebuds over there. You see them? Go do them. And so he starts working in the yard. She shows up a few minutes in with like some iced tea. She gives it to him, starts talking to him, like holds his hand as putting new cuttings into the dirt, and you're wondering like it's like, oh, we could need your help inside for a little bit of something later once you're done. So he gets like $100 at the end of the yard work, and of the yard work, and she literally kisses him like while her husband is like a few steps away, like in the other room, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? And so he's like, come over into the other room. There's something we need you with. And so literally, as he walks away, the husband follows right behind them, fully naked, with tattoos that are definitely Nazi related. Like the guy's at least he's either been in a Nazi gang or he's been to prison and joined a white supremacist gang. He had like
He was
88
kind of cute
tattoos.
though, not gonna lie.
He had 88 tattoos and all this. Look, and he just walks in naked behind them, and the scene just cuts to him just banging his wife on the bed in the living room, and just like Ronnie's just looking at them, and just like for a little bit, and she's just whispering stuff to him, and then he just gets out his dick, and for like the 5th time at this point in the movie, just starts jerking it while watching them. And then he gets paid for that too. He gets paid for jerking it while watching them after that. And then they ask him to come back later. And then he's supposed to play her husband while her real husband does the camera work. And she's basically he's literally acting as the husband in a series of cuck pornos. And it goes from black guy to Mexican guy to another Mexican guy.
Okay, now wait
Yeah.
a minute. This was all in this movie.
Yes, around the 40-minute mark, the 45-minute mark is when this happened.
How long is it? How long is it?
It's 1 hour 55 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We only get to the actual title 45 minutes in. Like, so at one point, like she really wants like a really good shot. So she pulls him in, and the Mexican guy just like unloads on his face. She makes him kneel there while he just blasts all over his face. And they just get that perfect shot. And it's clearly like lotion, like once you look at it, but like like in that scene, if that scene was real, he just got blasted on. Like just got full on jizzed on by a Mexican amateur porn star. And like he wipes his face off and tries to run out, and the woman, her name's Candy, by the way, like just follows him. You're like, oh wait, no, sweetheart, I need you. This is us. Remember, this is us. Just you and me. We're doing this together. So, he was like, why would you let him do that? He's like, because we needed the shot. You know that we need you. I need you. Just do it for me. And so he sticks with it. And then he's like, she says to him, look, my husband, I think Bill, he's going upstate next week. You come, it'll just be you and me, just you and me together by the pool. And so next week rolls by, and they're at the pool, and there's some talking, and then she just lets him have sex with her by the pool. And
sounds like a slut.
I mean, she's like professionally an escort, so
it was a business transaction.
No, she doesn't request any money. She just like does it as a favor, because I mean, he did get jizzed on, so
I was gonna say.
So basically, she does it to keep him with her, because she probably doesn't want to go looking for another cuck. So they do it by the pool, then they do it in the house in the bed, and then what's his name? Ronnie goes to sleep. He wakes up and Bill is just right there in the seat looking at him, and it's like real quiet. You're like, oh wow, is he gonna fucking die here? He was like, so you fucked my wife. He was like, she let me. I was like, you fucked my wife, and you're wondering why he's angry, because like at this
other
point,
people fuck his wife all the time.
Yeah, at this point, Ronnie is the only white guy who has fucked his wife, but like black guys and Mexican guys have fucked her, and he was cool with that. which is surprising considering his tattoos.
You know, okay, no, wait a minute. This movie is secretly based, right? Because let her get fucked by Mexicans and what else? Who else?
Like two different black guys.
And two different black guys. Won't I can't. What? Continue.
Okay, so and like we actually paused the movie here, like to have a debate with like the people watching, like why is he angry that a white guy fucked her, but like the black guy and the Mexican guy he was cool with, and then we were like, okay, maybe it's because those guys were strong, and masculine, and he's just like a tiny little runty white guy who he doesn't see as a man. Maybe that's why he's angry that she let him have sex. That's why he's pissed off. And we were thinking, and I was like, you know what? Maybe that's a possibility. He doesn't see him as a man, so he's mad that his wife would let a non-masculine figure ejaculate inside her. I guess. Um, it was that was literally the idea that I decided to stick with because it's the only thing that made sense. And then, so basically, Bill was like, "You owe me $200 for fucking my wife," and he was like, "Can I write you a check?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll write you a check." He's like, "I'll take the check."
Okay, and I said that this was a business transaction, and looky here it was.
Like, it look, it's so at this with the money he's been making from Bill and Candy's cuck porn service, like he bought himself a gun. It wasn't the Desert Eagle, the shiny chrome Desert Eagle he wanted, but he bought himself some, like a tiny little snub nose. So, and he's been going to like this what's it called, this gun store with a range to improve his aim, and his aim is pretty shitty. Like his aim is pretty shitty. Like he was barely hitting the paper in the first place. But as it goes on, like his mother gets a report like, "Oh, we're calling from the fraud department from your bank that $200 were paid to Bill and Candy Paxton for computer repairs." And then his mother, with her walker and her oxygen tank, somehow makes it like several blocks or wherever to where Bill and Candy's house is, and is like, "What are you doing with my son? What you harlot? You slut! What are you doing with my son?" And it's the best acting in this whole movie so far.
I forgot about his mother until now.
Like his mother is just like at one point, like you forget that his mother kind of exists while he's busy doing all this shit because I mean, except for that one scene where she was really happy he touched her boob, that's he doesn't do she's not really important.
Other than sponge baths and yelling at cuck porn
Yeah.
stars. Well,
Yeah. And so he basically talks to this guy, this Chance Domingue guy I told you before, after his videos start getting popular and ranting and all that. And Chance Domingue invites him out for dinner. And they're talking and talking and talking. And after dinner, he's like excited and happy. And he's on the train, and he looks at one of the comments under one of his popular videos that have like 50,000 views, and it's like, "Oh wow, look at this cuck right here." One of the comments, and he clicks it, and it opens up, and literally all the porn he's done on the website, it's already been found. And comment after comment, "Oh wow, look at this sicko, burn him at the stake, doesn't deserve to be an American," all this shit. And he finds a video from the guy he was talking to, Chance Domingue. He's like, "Look at this sick cuck. This guy, he doesn't deserve to be in. This is the type of sickness that's infecting the right with guys like this who claim that they're true Americans but are complete pussies." And so he's mad at this point, and he shows up to Bill and Candy's house like you didn't. Why would you post this? Why would you show my face? He was like, "To make money. What did you think we were doing with these videos?" He was like, "You know what? I need to be paid for this." Like, "What do you want?" It's like, "You. Like, I want you." Like, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "I want to fuck you for all the shit you've done. I want to fuck you." And as you'd expect, that does not work out. So he gets thrown out. He goes home. He gets arrested. His mom screaming at him, calling him like all sorts of niggers and whatnot. And yeah, all sorts of niggers. And so after the police release him, he goes back home, and his mom is oddly calm and happy to see him again. But at this point, he starts once he realizes how everything has gone to shit. He freaks out, goes to his mother, and just chokes her to death. And
what? What?
yeah, like he realizes how his life is gone, so he smashes all his stuff, goes to his mom, and then chokes her to death. And like I kind of made a weird comment because the way her hands were like creeping up his face, it looked kind of sexual. So I was like, I made that comment during the movie, and they're like, nah, where'd you get that? I was like, okay, this is my fault then. So he chokes her, kills her, and then he takes his snub nose, puts war paint all over his face, and he's just walking. He goes to their house, shoots, like he kicks the door down. After he calls Candy, you should come with me and run away with me, and we can live together. And he's like, yeah, fuck no, you're weird, and hangs up the phone. So he's like, fuck it. Walks in, kicks the door down, and shoots Bill twice in the chest. The dude is down, and like he steps over him, and for a moment, I think, is he gonna jerk off on him? Is he really going to do this? Is he going to jerk off on his face, like as a way to get over the humiliation they put him through, or whatever? But
Also,
no,
by now the man's got to be going through a lot of adrenaline, and I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you get like something of a pee-pee stand when you have a lot of adrenaline flowing through you?
yeah, yeah, like adrenaline moments, yeah.
Yeah. See, there you
Again,
there you go. Either way.
like I figured, like, is he gonna jerk off on his face as a punishment for all the humiliation they've put him through? But no, he just does the thing like, who's the cuck now, and shoots him in the face. And so he goes, he finds Candy, and he wrestles with her for a little bit, and then he grabs her by the head, and her wig comes off, and she has like short hair instead of the long hair. She has short blonde hair instead of the long blonde hair she had before, but like it's not like bad or anything. And so she's like, "You don't have to do this. Like I could give you what you want." And he's like, "This is what I want." And then like shoots her in the head, and it's all quiet and shit. And then he just like walks all the way back to he walks all the way back to he walks all the way back to the store, which is like at least a good distance from where he lives. And he finds the two Middle Eastern the dad and the son he worked for. And he takes so many shots. Like on his way to the store, he just shoots at a bunch of black guys and minorities he sees. And he misses every single time. Like he's terrible shot. Like he can be like literally a couple feet away and misses all these shots. Like a couple yards away, missing shots at a crowd of people. I don't even get like what the point of the gun was for. He might as well just get the knife. He'd been more successful with the knife.
There have been incidences of that.
And so he's like, there's at least like 5 or 6 people he shoots at on his way to this store. And he misses all of them. No one is injured. And he gets to the store. He sees the son is just like right across from him. Pulls out the gun, starts shooting 3 times, misses. Reloads. Keeps shooting, misses. And then the son just goes behind the dad. He shoots the dad, and they're just right there. And you're thinking, oh, wow, he's going to kill them and kill the people who were nice to him and who gave him a job and whatever. And instead, he just hears the sirens outside, and you get the flashback to his dad shooting himself in the head. And you're like, wow, this dude had a fucked up life. He just walks outside to the police, pulls out a gun, and then he just gets shot all over like several times. And it just goes back to Bill with a hole in his head, Candy dead on her bed, and then finally back to his mom, who's dead with an American flag covering her body. That he put that on her before he left, which to show some respect for his mother. And
That feels kind of dark, actually.
really, it really was. And then all you're getting as he's just lying there in his blood, just the scene of his dad shooting himself in the head. I'm like, They're like, wow, this dude was not like a normal. He had a whole lot of shit. He was at least semi-autistic, and this is a fucked up movie. And
Okay,
then
how much time is left on this film?
like at this point, like 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it cuts to a YouTube video, last video of the Santa Monica shooter, and it's just him at the beach, just saying some like semi-calm shit, and then he just takes off his pants and is in his underwear, no swim trunks, just goes into the water for a swim.
And then the credits roll.
Yeah, the credits roll. That's the movie.
All right. So here's my interpretation of this: is was a film about a left-wing man LARPing as a right-wing man, and his real life was that of being a cuck. That's what I'm gonna take away from that.
I mean, I don't think you'd be wrong if you chose that. Really, like, there's so much about this movie you got to question. Like there's just so much. Like, why would they wait till the very end to show us his dad shooting himself in the head while holding baby Ronnie?
See, that
That's a
actually
very
makes the film something kind of meaningful at the end.
yeah.
So the whole movie you're going, this is ridiculous, and then at the last second
Like,
it pulls this shit out. And
like
now
if
you
they
have to
like,
consider a different plane. Like the guy was mentally ill, obviously.
yeah, and like the possible sexual abuse from his mother too, and the fact that he was autistic, he
Like,
definitely the
who
way
was
he
to
treated
blame
that woman.
here for what happened?
Like, yeah, the way he treated the woman he was
Not
on a date with, like he's definitely autistic.
right. So, and not to like excuse his behavior just because he is autistic and mentally ill. However, a man can only take so much
I mean, yeah, like
before he cracks.
I
And
mean,
Ronnie had met his limit.
he did. He really did. A funny fact about like it was 30 minutes in before I realized his name was Ronnie. Like like I was just
Did he
thinking
look
about
like a
everything
Ronnie
else.
to you, or did you just never consider it
Look,
until it came up?
he looked like an Ethan to me, so I just kept thinking. I just kept thinking Ethan every time like I heard his name. My brain would dub it over as Ethan. And the funny like they literally chose a guy who looked just like Ethan Klein, and the actor apparently gained like so much weight for this role, so he could have the Ethan Klein H3 body.
God bless the man for really getting into his part.
I mean, he's a true actor. So yeah, like the guy was he pulled off the role. I'm not gonna lie. Like the movie was shit, but he played a convincing whatever he played.
A mentally ill
Also,
man.
well, whatever he was. But I'm gonna open it up so like a few people who wanna just ask some questions about the movie. Okay, you're up, buddy. You there, Walter?
Mig?
Yeah. You had any want to talk about the movie a little bit?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about it?
It was so bad that I thought I was having a fever and hallucinating it.
Okay.
And the whole movie just looks like the camera lens had been dipped in piss.
I feel you. I feel you.
What, you don't like
And
this?
no. And so many of the scenes were so bizarre. And he was jacking off in every other scene, shirtless, and he looked like Lucas.
I'd say you look more like Ethan than Lucas.
He had Lucas nipples and Ethan face.
Yes, he did that. He had the Lucas nipples, Ethan's face, and Ethan's body structure.
Yeah, and it was definitely unpleasant. And his gun was bigger than his dick.
I mean,
Zing,
I'm,
zing.
I'm not gonna lie. Look, the scenes where he was literally jacking off are some of the worst to watch because so many times he just did it standing. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna judge or criticize anyone's, jack off stance, but there's a chair right there's a bed right there. Why are you standing every time? It's just
And what? And he doesn't seem to clean it up.
he doesn't. He just goes right back to whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he just
You gotta leave your
seemingly
scent all over the house.
he seemingly fucks the computer in some scenes. It's so oddly angled.
Yeah, that's true. And there was so much yellow lighting. Like there was so much yellow lighting over everything. It was like we were constantly stuck in Breaking Bad, Mexico.
Yeah, but you know, even Breaking Bad Mexico didn't look nearly as bad. I mean, you know, there were other colors.
I just wish they could have done so much better with this. To be honest. Anything else you
And
want to add to that?
also,
What would you
well,
change?
What would I change?
Yeah.
Okay, first things first. What I would change, I would emphasize that he wasn't like a regular average guy. Okay, I was like, okay, maybe he has some like some pre-existing mental issues or or possibly he has some sort of autism, something to emphasize that this guy's not your normal average Joe. He has issues already.
Are you implying average Joes don't have issues?
No, you know what? I'm finding the average Joe. The average Joe
What is
didn't
the average Poe like?
look. The average Joe didn't see their dad shoot himself in the head while holding them as a baby.
I'll drink to that.
I mean, the average Joe doesn't have to like sponge bathe their mother and grope their breasts every day. That's all I'm saying.
that was honestly the worst scene in the movie.
Honestly, yeah, that was pretty bad to watch. Like the
Post
part
it
where he got
on your
jizzed on,
timeline.
the part where he got jizzed on was kind of funny to be honest, because he was just there, he just let it happen.
Well, what do you do at that point?
He knew what was about to happen, but he chose to stay there kneeling, angry afterwards. Like it's like
Man was shell shocked.
he, he's 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 been used to this. You don't just he knew what was about to happen. He saw the guy just like furiously jerking. Like he's done that enough times to know what comes out.
Yeah, but not everybody's cum face is the same.
Oh my god! Like he literally held his face at a certain angle to catch the jizz. It's like, come on. You knew what you were about to get in your face. Oh my god. Okay. Let's bring in Owl for a commentary.
Feminine type.
Owl, you there?
Oh, hello. How are
Okay.
you guys?
What were your thoughts on Cook?
Like for starters, if you name your film "CUCK," that's ridiculous. Like that's the most stupid name I can think of. Like it's not really engaging or entertaining. But if you ask my thoughts, I will tell you. I feel the movie is on the same level as these Christian movies that talk about porn addiction, and I watched some of them. It feels like a parody. It feels that
Oh no, we lost him.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Did we not have Owl in here a minute ago? We're pulling in
We
random
did.
randos. Okay, I'm gonna pull Owl back in here then. Um, I don't know why he went
Technical
back into the green.
difficulties.
I don't
Please
know why he went
stand
to the green
by.
room. There we go.
was my connection.
How are you? Your connection fell apart there. We didn't get
Oh
any
yeah,
of what you said.
yeah, my internet's acting funny. So what we're saying is that for me, Cuck is on the same level of a Christian film I watched the other day that talk about the dangers of porn addiction. Like it feels like a parody, and even worse than that is that I feel that it really doesn't treat seriously what the radicalization of young white men, as they like to call it, is. Um, and also that the fact that it's not even entertaining to watch. Like we start the film with this guy already being an asshole, and he ends up being an asshole. That's the different thing from Joker. Like in Joker, the guy it's a continuous journey of how he descends into madness. That's the simple premise of the film, and that's why the film is so good. With Cuck is none of that. With Cuck, he starts being an idiot. He ends up being an idiot. He dies a loser. And the fact is that they keep throwing you this images of his house full of Christian imagery and stuff like that.
Catholic specifically. Catholic specifically.
Yeah, Catholicism, and you're and what I would feel it was the director is trying to show. You see, he's a Christian, so he's supposed to hate brown people. He's supposed to hate Arabs and Latinos. But I was like, no, he's just deeply religious. I mean, I know deeply religious people that are not necessarily racist. And the
I
thing
know
also I
people that are not religious and are definitely racist.
well, yeah, well, that's true. But I don't know. Also, the fact that he's set in California really didn't ring any bell for me because look, I don't know much about the states of the United States, but I know that most like Republicans are not from California. Like I believe if the film was set like in the places you call the Rust Belt or even in Texas, like I will find like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like it will make sense that there are Republicans here. But no, it's in California, like the reddest state in the union, and not for the reasons you think about it.
There
Um,
are conservatives in Northern California typically, but that's away
yeah,
from a
but,
lot of the bigger cities.
yeah, but personally, I don't know much about it. I mean, I'm not American. All I know is
Right.
from the maps and stuff like that. Um, and also is um, it feels like it takes excuse from a lot of things, like incels, white supremacists, and Republicans, which are not like the same thing. The guy, I think I heard you mentioning it. The guy who's his personal hero, who's this like southern accent, like her,
Yeah, like
is
he's a mix of Ben Shapiro, Gavin McInnes, and Steven Crowder.
my, yes, and I will actually say he's like in the ideas of Richard Spencer
Yeah,
because I've
Spencer, that's what I forgot. He's like,
yes,
yeah.
because I don't like Ben Shapiro or Gavin McInnes, but I've never heard them talk about the African race like that. I mean, they will of course talk about race, but that's not what they do. Or that's what they say. And that's also one thing I want to mention. Um, the only realistic part of the film, and I discussed this with the guys in the green room. Shout out to them. Um, the only realistic part is when his hero tears him down, when he makes a video exposing him with the new information. Like that's the only realistic part because I've seen
A lot.
yes, and it's gonna happen every time. Like we gave like an idea, like what will happen if the day of tomorrow, like Paul Joseph Watson appears in a video getting pegged, and I
Wait,
said,
what? Wait, you guys are talking about me getting pegged? What?
no, Paul Joseph Watson.
Oh, oh, okay.
No, no, no. We
Why are
were
you so
talking.
defensive about all this gay shit all the time?
Paul, yeah, like what's the problem? Do you hate gays?
I don't hate the gays. I'm just not one of them. That sounds wrong. I love the gays. I love you guys. Like, we're
Are you
trans, but dap me up. Like, it's cool. We're cool.
homophobe? No, but okay. So I said, if Paul Joseph Watson appeared in a video getting pegged, everyone will turn its back on him.
Yeah.
Everyone. They will do that. Everyone will do that.
I
The
mean,
same way.
wait, to be honest, Alex Jones did look at trans porn, and we joked about it for like a couple days, but everybody let it go.
Yeah, like, no, because that's Chad. But I mean that's all I have to say honestly. Because if we're talking about this film in like cinematic merits, the lighting, the overall look, it looks cheap. The acting is not that good. Although I
I
will
mean,
say
there
that
were some scenes that were like pretty believable though.
I mean the grandma titties.
Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't need that. I didn't need that image in my head again.
I didn't need to remember that. Oh my god, that's disgusting. But that's what I think about the film. Like I don't look. I won't recommend this film to anybody because I like to recommend bad films because you can always laugh at a very trash film, but not this one because this is not entertaining. This is awful. This sucks. In general, this sucks. Don't watch it. If you want to watch a good film, like, go watch Joker or anything else. Like I even watch Pacific Rim for all I care. But watch
Damn
when
it, no. It's just very.
What
It's a
about
very good film.
the the remake Ghostbusters.
Okay, no, that's come on. We're trying to be
You will,
good
you will
movies.
be, yeah, you will be surprised that I still haven't watched it.
Okay.
But that's all I have to say. And well, thank you for letting me voice my opinion.
Okay.
Nice
Thank
having
Al.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Plague Doctor, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, any thoughts on Cuck? Did you watch it with us?
Yeah, I watched it with you guys. My thoughts on it. I have absolutely zero idea why they decided to put this up against the Joker.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at it while I was in the green room, and no money made, zero money made.
Joker made over $1 billion, and this
Yeah,
one made nothing.
I can't even find a budget for this thing, so I don't even know how much money it lost, and I'm pretty sure that's because they're that embarrassed by it.
I mean, I don't think. Look, judging from the quality, I don't think they lost too much.
No, there's no money. There's no money in this.
Like, this looks like something like a college, a bunch of colleges could have made. Like I've seen better college-made movies.
Yes, I think. Okay, how do I put this? The best way to do this is the Joker, and that's the sad thing is that this is almost one-to-one story beat for story beat, basically kind of like the Joker,
Yeah.
but it does everything that the Joker did right wrong.
Okay. I know
Like,
what you mean. I know what you mean. The bath scene was the bath scene. Was
I don't want to think about it.
I'm sorry. I keep bringing it up.
You know what? I'm actually surprised they didn't have him jerk off after that.
That would have been that would have been horrible.
Yes, and that's what I was expecting from this. I'm almost disappointed by it.
Look, the one scene I expected him to jerk off, and I would have appreciated was the part where he was about to shoot Bill. I
Missed
would have thought that was him
opportunities.
taking his power back or something, but no. They just let him shoot him. I'm like,
He did
I'm
not
surprised every
assert
scene.
prominence.
I'm surprised every scene didn't just transition into him just jerking off with how much of it is in this movie.
there's at least what 5, 6 scenes of him jerking off.
It's like half the movie.
Yeah.
Every other moment.
At
When
work,
he gets
at
angry, he jerks
home,
off.
at
Like,
home again.
like a bonobo. He just does it.
Oh my god, that's.
It's
I
either
can't.
jerking off or impotent rage.
There's so
Nice
much
fly
impotent
bed.
rage. There's so much impotent rage in this movie. Just.
Like, I'm
So
thinking
what
about
are
it.
your final thoughts? What are your final thoughts on it though?
My final thoughts, just I don't know why this was made. I don't know what the point of this movie was. There's no message other than don't be an asshole, super far right racists. Congratulations, that's most people.
It was supposed to be like it was supposed to really get the incels, but like it wasn't even an incel movie.
No, the dude's not there's no audience for this. I don't know who's supposed to be watching this. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel when I watch this.
Look at the reviews.
Like
I'm
no,
afraid to.
you remember the joke that SNL did, white male rage about Joker?
Yeah.
This movie is deserving of that song.
Yeah. But it's just a guy being pissed for
It's
the runtime.
true. It's true. That's very true.
And that's it. He doesn't change. There's no change in him.
He really doesn't. He just gets angrier. That's it.
He starts off an asshole who's racist, and he ends a racist asshole who's dead.
Thanks, Blake Doctor. Thanks.
Welcome.
Okay. Rin, you have any thoughts?
My thought was that this sounds like something he would make mainly because people like him, they have this idea that every single one of their enemies is actually working together. Like he's done
Whoops.
Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. Radio, you have any thoughts?
What do you want me to add about CUCK? Honestly, to anyone who is watching this who has any interest of seeing this film, I'd recommend you don't.
Yeah,
Because
that's pretty much it.
it's not like The Room, in which it's a so bad it's good film. It's just bad. Everything about it is just incompetent. It's an ugly looking film because of color correction. It's very dark because they don't have very good lighting. The acting is amateurish. And the lead actor, his character There's absolutely sympathy,
There's
and it's
nothing
just
sympathetic about him. True.
yeah, and it takes special skill to make a crime spree look lame, and
Yeah.
somehow this film managed to do that,
No,
and I don't know how.
the one thing you can say about Joker was that he tried to do his best in
Yeah,
everything. Like he tried at work, he tried at home, he tried to even be happy.
yeah.
But this guy, he just was angry and hated, and just
Yeah.
barely
Arthur
tried.
was sympathetic. He had sympathetic traits. He tried to improve himself when his mental illness and society genuinely did drag him down. But this guy, whose name I don't even remember,
Ronnie.
it's just
Ronnie, yeah.
let's just focus. Well, there's
Lucas.
nothing to be sympathetic with him. He's not going towards rock. He has hit rock bottom, and he's using a jackhammer to dig deep.
So he doesn't have any redeeming traits.
No, look, I'm gonna be honest. There are none, no redeeming traits at all with this guy. Radio, you still there? Radio. Okay.
Oh no, we
Lamb.
lost another one.
Yeah, we lost another one. So, guess we should be coming to an end right about now. So, Lamb, just from everything that you've heard about this movie, do you think you would want to watch this?
Absolutely not.
Burner, your thoughts on CUCK?
You know what? I think it was a great movie. You know, I was looking for a movie that was for me that I could watch and I could feel like that represents me in Hollywood. And you know what? Pristine, amazing. I think I'm gonna pull a John Lennon. I'm gonna go buy a snub nose right now. After the podcast is done. We're
Burner, let me tell you one reason why I know this movie is not for you. First of all, as long as you do not have an arm like Michael J. Fox, you would be able to shoot better than Ronnie.
You know what? Well, that's what I'm gonna do then.
Okay, the fact that he is not good at aiming or hitting anything with a bullet also, I feel, builds evidence against him that he is in fact a progressive LARPing as a conservative.
You would think at
He
all that
practices like
time.
every day. Even at home, he practices with his BB gun, and when he gets a regular gun, he still practices. But apparently, no, he's just shitty.
You know, this guy, he sounds like he's pretty ugly and I don't like him. That's my final take. Ethan Klein, I'm calling you out.
Hate ugly people now.
Yep, ugly people, you should probably not exist. That's my final take.
Okay. So I guess that covers everything for today. So what are we doing next week, Lamb?
We are gonna be watching The Truman Show.
Yeah, that is our next Friday night movie. If you want to
Excited.
if you want to watch the Truman Show with us, meet us in the Digital Blackface Discord server at Friday, May 8th. We're starting at 9 o'clock EST. 9 o'clock EST.
See you there.
And for next week's show, we'll let you know what we're doing. Thank you and good night.
Goodbye.
Ah.